So I have a bit of a long drive ahead of me, an hour plus, so I thought instead of listening to music and wasting this time, I thought I might as well chuck on the camera and start talking. Make another video and use this time productively. Now I don't have a specific topic I would like to talk about in this video. So I might just talk about life, improvement, philosophy, whatever comes to my mind really. I think I'm going to discuss. I don't really have a topic for this video, and these types of videos I'm going to try and make more frequent, where I just freestyle talk about improvement, life, philosophy, getting better, whatever it may be that may come to my mind during this time. So yeah, I have an hour and 40-minute drive ahead of me. And on these long drives, you really do get a chance to think and sit with your thoughts. Well, most people don't, because they're blasting music or trying to distract themselves in a way. But these long drives where you get to sit by yourself in a car, alone, with your thoughts, they are, in this modern world that's always fast-paced and we never seem to get time to do anything, moments like these are becoming fewer and fewer and fewer. And that's why it's important to make time for moments like this, where you can just be alone with your thoughts and think, because 95% of people don't do that anymore. These long drives really give me a chance to plan, think about things, think about what I may be doing, what I can be doing better, what I'm doing great, maybe adjust little beliefs in my mind that I may have, whatever it may be. Moments of silence are what is missing in today's fast-paced world, where it's just go, go, go. And moments like this are becoming fewer and fewer. So it is in moments like these where you get the chance to really understand who you are, because we really find out a lot about ourselves during solitude. We don't find out who we are when we're in a crowd, or when we're around our friends, or when we're around women, or when we're in a social setting, because we tend to wear masks when we're in social settings, which is a normal thing, to be quite honest with you, because you're not going to be the same person with your work colleagues as you are with your close friends. But it's different adjusting your whole personality to fit in, and it's different just being a different version of your same personality, if that makes sense. Like at work, you may be a professional guy who doesn't make many jokes, but the essence of your personality is still there. Your morals, your values don't change. When it becomes a problem is when people wear completely different costumes to change who they are, just so they can fit in with the crowd and fit in with their friends and fit in with their work colleagues. I've noticed people do that everywhere. They change their whole personality, they change their whole beliefs, they change their whole goals, just so they can fit in with everyone. And I think that is a big mistake that you can make, because what makes you is unique to you. And how boring a world would be where everyone is the same as everyone else and you have the same beliefs as everyone else, because that's actually kind of what the world's come to. Society has norms and values which people have accepted, and if you don't align with those values, society will demonize you and call you names and label you crazy. I feel like now as well, the more I observe this might sound harsh, but I'm just speaking my mind and being honest. The more I observe the average man, the common man who has the common mentality, the more I realize how much the world demonizes the exceptional among us, how much the world demonizes you if you have high expectations for yourself, and if you want to do well in life, and if you want to be great. Society will demonize you, call you crazy, tell you to be realistic, tell you to have smaller goals, tell you to say, who do you think you are to have those goals? And that's why it's so important to stop hanging around those types of people and stop hanging around toxic people. Because whether you believe it or not, they are going to infect your mind with their negativity and their limiting beliefs. Because if you hear something over and over and over and over again, even if you don't believe it, at some point you're going to start to believe it. And it may first come out in subtle ways where you don't notice, where you don't go to the gym one day, or you don't work on your brand or business one day, and you think, oh, it's okay, everyone else takes days off, so I'm just going to have this day off, it's not going to hurt. If you want to be like everyone else, all you have to do is do the same things that everyone else does, and you have guaranteed yourself an average life. And that's okay. I don't demonize people who want that. Some people want just a normal, average, comfortable life where they don't want to be constantly pushing themselves and constantly battling to be a better version of themselves. Because it's not easy. Because if it were easy, then everyone would do it. If it were easy to be exceptional, everyone would be exceptional. If it were easy to be rich, then everyone would be rich. But what I've come to believe is that even though it's not easy, it is actually fairly simple. If you are obsessed, if you dedicate yourself, if you are constantly getting better, if you are constantly learning, if you are constantly striving to become the best version of yourself in every facet of your life, how can you lose? If you show up every single day, if you're consistent, how can you lose? You can't lose if you do all the right things. Because it is not the results that matter. It's the process and the figuring out that matters the most. Because you're not always going to win. You're not always going to be the best. You're not always going to find the perfect solution. You're not always going to be in a position of advantage. But that's the beauty about life. The beautiful thing about life, you come to realize, are the setbacks, are the misfortunes, because they are what allow us to grow and get better. You learn almost nothing when things go great and when things go swell, and when you do everything right, you learn nothing when things go your way. It is when things collapse on you and go badly, that is when you learn the most. That is when you are forced to get better. That is when you are forced to look within yourself and either grow or die, basically. Because if life were all green lights, how boring a life that would be, in my opinion. Because every setback I've had, I've torn my ACL, I've ruptured ankle ligaments, I've failed in my life over and over again, but as Michael Jordan says, that is why I succeed. Failure is not the enemy of success. Failure and success are almost, it is kind of a paradox, because failure and success are almost, people think they're exclusive, that they don't go hand in hand, but failure and success go hand in hand, because it hurts to fail, it hurts to lose, but in order to win, sometimes you need to lose, and sometimes you need to take that step back so you can take 2 steps forward. That is what discourages most people from whatever they want to do, whether it is start a YouTube channel like this, whether it is start a business, whether it's start growing a brand, whether it's just do better at their job. What stops most people is, it's not even the fear of failure that stops most people, it's the fear of what others will think of them for not succeeding on their first try. That is what deters most people. The fear of judgment, of what others are going to think of them. And what you have to realize is, if you want to achieve great success in your life, then you are going to have to learn to not care what other people think. And it is difficult, because sometimes I catch my mind thinking, oh, what is he going to say if we try that? And then you have to be self-aware to snap out of it. Because living a life or constantly worried about what other people think is a life of misery. A life of, I don't even know how to describe it, because it's just a life of misery, constantly worrying about what others are going to say, if someone is going to approve of what you do. What you have to realize is what you do in life doesn't have to make sense to anyone but yourself. What you do in life doesn't have to make sense to anyone but you. Because if it makes sense to you, that's all that matters. If you want to start that YouTube channel, if you want to start that business, if you want to change your career, if you want to go to a new country to live, whatever it is you want to do, just know you do not need pre-approval or validation from anyone. It's your life and you choose to live it how you wish. Don't live your life based on society's norms and expectations of what they think you should be. Because it's a miserable way to live. I'll be honest, my dad doesn't agree with all of my mentality. My dad wants me to have a drink of alcohol sometimes, and he wants me to go out, and he wants me to party, and he wants me to be normal in a sense. But I've made it clear that I am not going to change for anyone. I'm not going to change for society. I'm not going to change for a woman. I'm not going to change to fit in a social group. What you get with me is what you get with me. I am the same to everyone, and I am the same regardless if I'm in a social setting or if I'm alone. I am a direct person, and whatever I want to say to you, I will say to you. I won't go around spreading it and saying it to other people. And sometimes it gets me in trouble being this direct and honest. But this is me, and I'm not going to change for anyone, and neither should you. Everyone has something, and this is what I heard from Alex Hormozy. Everyone has something that makes them a bit peculiar, a bit unique. But most people stifle that in order to fit in with the crowd and fit in with the rest. But one of the indicators that you are on the right path and that you are on the path of success is when you have haters, and when people are calling you crazy, and when people are saying, why do you have to be so different from everyone? Why can't you just fit in? Why can't you go out with us? Why can't you have a drink of alcohol? Why can't you go partying? Why can't you go to this festival? Why can't you drink Coke? Why can't you drink this? And you don't owe an explanation to anyone. Most people feel they need to explain how they live their life to other people. You don't need to explain yourself to anyone. Why don't you drink? Because I don't want to. End it at that. It is the best in life to be direct and honest with everyone you meet. Because otherwise, People are just going to walk all over you. Because we have enough time in our lives. The reason most people don't have enough time is because they say yes to so many things, and that takes away from the things they want to do. If I have a gym workout, and if I'm editing videos, and if I'm filming videos, there's not a chance that someone will ask me to go to a wedding, or go to a family dinner or an event, or go out with them to party. Everyone knows my answer to these things, and I've definitely repelled a lot of family members from my life, and I've definitely repelled a lot of people from hanging out with me and asking me and inviting me places, because everyone knows the answer that I'm going to give, so they don't even ask me. And that is what allows me to manage my time effectively and efficiently. That is what allows me to have time for everything that I want to do in my life. Now, am I saying socialization isn't important? No. But most people don't have true friends in their life. Most people don't have supportive family in their life. So while you're on this path, just know you are going to find people on the same path. It just takes a while, and you have to go through that lonely chapter. Because everyone goes through the lonely chapter. Every successful person that you see and that you meet has gone through the lonely chapter. And this is what Chris Williamson always talks about. It's that chapter where you've stopped doing what pushes you further away from your goals. You've locked in, as they say. Now you've cut off your old friends, and you're so different that you're not doing what they're doing. You're not going out, you're not partying, and that is pushing you further away from them. But you're not sufficiently developed that you've found your new set of friends. So you're stuck in this messy middle, as Chris Williamson calls it, where you're not there yet, and you're lonely. And it can be hard at times. It does feel lonely. But all you are going to find that friend. You are going to find those people that you trust. Me personally, I probably have four true friends in my life, and that is it. And those people I would trust with my life. And that is what a friend is. Many people are quick to call everyone a friend. Many people are quick to call people in their lives they've just met a friend. A friend to me is someone who, if you call in the middle of the night at 3 a.m, hey, I need you. They won't say why or where or can't you get someone else. They'll say, where are you? I'm coming now. That is a friend. A friend isn't someone who you just go to the same school with, or you play video games with, or you're in the same vicinity. Because I've realized now, as I've finished high school a couple years, when was it? 2020, so 5 years ago, I finished high school. I've realized that those people weren't my friends. We were just friends by circumstance. We were in the same vicinity, and we were quote unquote friends. Life is not what happens to you. Life is what you make of what happens to you. And that is 100% the truth. Because your perception of reality actually is what dictates reality. Because whatever event happens in your life, it's not good or bad. It's the judgment and the perception we put on those events that make them good or bad in our mind. Because every event, when you look at it, there's no bias. There's no bias in events. Events happen. They're neutral. It is our judgment of those events that cause them to be good or bad in our mind. So the secret to life then is just to focus on what you can control, and that is the Stoicism philosophy. Focus on what you can control, because the rest actually doesn't matter. Because when you focus on what you control and you focus on yourself and you get better, this is another thing by one of the most inspirational and one of the most famous and one of the most successful self-improvement speakers. When you get better, everything else will get better. Many people make the mistake of trying to change the outside world before they've even attempted to change them, and it's one of the things Jordan Peterson talks about in his book 12 Rules for Life, where he says, clean your room. And many people didn't understand that. Many people are like, oh, clean your room. But as well as keeping your room clean, it's not just about the literal thing of keeping your room clean, but I'll talk about this as well. Keeping your room clean and keeping one thing in a form of excellence will transfer into the rest of your life, but I think it's also keeping your room clean symbolizes keeping your mind clean and focusing on yourself before you attempt to change the outside world. Because most people don't have their lives in order. They drink, they smoke, they gamble, they go out, they party, they drink alcohol, they waste time. And I'm not making fun of any of these people, because I believe everyone can become great. Everyone can achieve greatness. Greatness is not off limits to anyone. Greatness is not something that's reserved for a select few individuals. Greatness is something that we have in all of us as soon as we're born. Greatness is a choice, and it is a choice that you decide to make every single day with the actions you take every day. Everyone is capable of greatness, but it is only why so few people achieve it is because only a select few people have the courage to make that choice every single day, because it is not an easy choice to make. When all your friends are going out on a Friday night and you have to be in the gym, or you have to be in bed by 9 o'clock, it's making that decision to eat that healthy meal versus that unhealthy meal. It's making that decision to work on your business instead of procrastinating. It's making that decision to read instead of play video games. Because our life doesn't come down to massive decisions. That's what most people get wrong as well. Our life comes down to the small decisions we make daily, and that adds up to the big decisions. Because the more and more I analyze myself and my decisions, I realize that there is nothing actually that doesn't matter. Everything you do matters, and everything you do counts towards something. It's either everything you do, you are either getting yourself closer to your goals, or it's either pushing you towards your goals, or it's either pulling you away from your goals. There's nothing stands still in life. If you are not getting better, you are getting worse. Life is at a constant, the earth is always spinning. The world is always moving. If you are not constantly trying to learn, get better, you are getting worse. You are going backwards. You are not staying the same. Because if you just keep doing the same things that you are doing now for a year, nothing's going to change. Because for something to change, something has to change. Excuse me. If you want the same result as everyone else, that's pretty easy to do. Just do the same thing that everyone else does. You are not going to get exceptional results from doing the same things that 99% of people do. You have to go that extra mile. You have to do more. You have to constantly be learning, evolving, and getting better. It's the only way to win. It's what it takes. And you're either going to decide to do what it takes to win, or you're going to be like everyone else and stay average. The choice is up to you. It's up to no one else but yourself. And most people make the choice, whether consciously or unconsciously, to stay average, to stay like everyone else. And it's no problem. I have no problem with people living a nice, average, comfortable life. Some people want that. But where I have a problem is when people make excuses as to why they can't be successful, as to why they can't go to the gym, as to why they can't read. And the most common excuse people make is, I don't have time. You don't have time to go to the gym, but you have time to be on your phone. Most people's screen time is 6 hours. You have time to go out with your friends and party and go to festivals and drink alcohol, but you don't have time to read and go to the gym and get in better shape. People love to make excuses why they can't do something. What people hate to do is admit to themselves that it's actually their fault that they're not where they want to be in their life. And the only people who change their lives are the ones who are self-aware enough to realize what I'm doing isn't working. What I'm doing has got me fat, out of shape, and broke. What I'm doing is not making me successful, and they change. It is the people who constantly make excuses to themselves and constantly validate mediocrity. It is those people who are gonna tell you, oh, don't go for a run today. You worked hard today. You can eat that ice cream. It won't hurt. Just take a day off. It's okay. We need to relax. Now, am I saying never take a day off? Of course not. But most people don't take days off to recover and improve. Most people take days off because they're lazy and unwilling to do the work required to win. That's why people take days off and rest days. Not because they need to recover or their body is sore or they're burnt out. And burnout is a whole nother thing I don't want to get into right now. But people don't take days off to recover and recuperate and come back stronger. They take days off to be lazy, to not have to work so they can procrastinate, play video games, and they tell themselves it's okay, today's a day off. There's a lot of things you can do to recover if you want a day off. You can go for a swim, you can go to the sauna, you can read, you can stretch. There's so many things that are going to improve you as a person on a day off, and I don't really even view it as days off. Because every day you have to be getting better. It is just a way of life. This mentality, it's a way of living, it's a way of life. It's not a hobby, it's not a joke, as David Goggins says. It's a way of life. And if you don't live like this, then people who do are going to succeed and you aren't. It's just the reality. It's just the reality of how it is. People aren't going to tell you this. People aren't going to tell you that it's actually not okay to take a day off when you're feeling lazy or when you've had a hard day at work. It's not okay to skip gym. It's not okay to not train. It's not okay to be out of shape. It's not okay to be fat. It's not okay to be mediocre. It's not okay to settle for average. But society has normalized this. Society has actually demonized being locked in and demonized becoming successful and normalized being average and a work-life balance. But if no one's told you this yet, I'll be the one to tell you. If you want to be great, if you want to be successful, if you want to be exceptional, there is no work-life balance. It's just work on yourself. Get better every single day. It's an obsession. It's an obsession. Every day I wake up, I think about, okay, how am I going to get better today? And when you go to sleep, the question you should be asking yourself is, did I get better today? And if the answer is yes, then you can go to sleep with no regrets, because you know you got better today, because you know you improved today, and you are better today than you were yesterday. It's such a simple mindset to follow, and people still decide to be average and to not reach success. Because it is actually easier than ever in today's day and age to become rich, to become successful, to be in shape. But the problem is, it's easier than ever to be distracted because of the sheer amount of distractions that we have in today's world. It's so easy now to just hop on TikTok and scroll and get free dopamine. It is so easy to chase hedonistic pleasures like alcohol, recreational drugs, and all that crap that people my age and above and everyone is doing. And people make you feel like you're crazy for not wanting to drink, for not wanting to waste time, for not wanting to go out, for not wanting to watch movies, for not wanting to drink alcohol. People make you feel like you're the crazy one. And that is when most people cave in and just go back to being like everyone else. In that lonely chapter when people are telling them and trying to influence them. But one thing I've learned is, don't take advice from anyone that you wouldn't want to be like. No matter how smart a person who out of shape is about getting in shape, no matter how much they've studied and learned, if they're not in shape, why would you take their advice to get in shape? If someone's not on the self-improvement path and they're just drinking alcohol and partying and doing drugs and going to festivals and wasting time, and they're preaching to you about self-improvement, why on earth would you even listen to them? Why would you take advice from average people? Why? Listen, average people and people who live a nice, comfortable life, they are some of the nicest and greatest people you ever meet, some of them. There's some really wonderful, ordinary people, as Steve Harvey says it. But if you want to get to that next level, their advice ain't gonna get you there. Because they don't know what it takes. They don't know the obsession it takes. They don't know the dedication it takes. They know how to do what they've achieved in their life. That's the only thing they know. So why would you take advice from them on how to live your life if you want an exceptional life? It doesn't make any sense. Because people call me rude and a dreamer. What else? I've been called many things. Condescending, crazy is a big one I get. Freak. But they don't realize that I'm not crazy or any of these things. I'm just not them. As David Goggins says, I'm not crazy. I'm just not you. Average people can never understand the mind of an ambitious and successful person. They don't understand the obsession and the sheer sickening work ethic it takes every single day of your life to show up. They don't understand what it takes. So don't keep those type of people around you, because it's better to be alone than surrounded by toxic and fake people who try and bring you down. And people feel like they owe things to people just because they're close family or relatives, or you've known them since high school. No. If you're negative and if you don't support my goals in my life, I don't want you in my life. I've cut off so many family members, and it sounds harsh. I've cut off so many family members because they're negative, toxic. So I'd rather be alone than around those types of people who infect my mind with negativity. Because remember this, the most poisonous advice anyone can ever give you in life is be realistic. That's the most poisonous advice anyone can ever give you, and whoever tells you that, run far, far away from them. Because what does that even mean? Realistic for who? Realistic for you? Do not be realistic in life. Be delusional. Believe that you are going to achieve everything you say. Because when you believe, and when you know what you want, the universe and your life and reality will bend to your desires, and will bend to your desires. Of course, taking the action as well is what solidifies it. Because you can believe and believe and believe all you want, but if you just sit on the couch all day and don't take action towards what you believe in, it won't be worth much. It is the belief and the emotion behind that belief and the action you take that combine and get you the results you want. It is honestly the best thing about life is to be able to wake up every single day and work as hard as possible and get better every single day. That is the number one thing I am grateful for in my life. The opportunity to be able to get up every single day, healthy, strong, and be able to train as hard as possible every single day. Work on myself, work on my mind, work on my body, work on my brands, work on my brand. Because my goal is to help men get better. Help people get better. It's not gender specific. I want people to realize that they can be great. They can become better. They can achieve greatness in their life. They can become rich and successful and happy and fulfilled. It's the number one thing people say. Oh, yeah, he may be rich and he may have all those cars, but I have a great family and I have kids who love me. Do you think the rich person doesn't have this? Do you think the rich person doesn't have a family who loves him? Do you think the successful person doesn't have all the things that the average man claims to have? People use this argument to try and deter you from wanting the rich and successful life. Don't let anyone tell you what you can and can't do in life. Who are they to tell you it's impossible and it's not feasible, and be realistic? Don't listen to what anyone tells you. Your goals are your goals, and if you believe you can achieve them, you are going to achieve them. If you believe you are going to achieve them and you put the work in every single day and you are always consistent and you always show up, how can you ever lose? How can you beat the guy who shows up every single day all the time? How can you beat that guy? You can't. It doesn't take any special genetics or special circumstances or a high IQ or special parents to achieve success. It doesn't take any of that. All it takes is your willingness to succeed, is your unwavering faith in your ability that you are going to succeed. That's what it takes. So I really hope you enjoy these type of videos, because I'm going to be making more of them. Every drive I have that's 45 minutes or an hour longer, I'm going to make this style of content as well, along with my other content. And I want to provide people with valuable information that's going to help them get better. Until next time, see you later.